Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society. My name is Emily Smith, and I serve this congregation as a worship associate. Today I am joined by one of our ministers, Reverend Kelly Asprooth-Jackson, and the worship team of Linda Warren, Drew Collins, Stephen Gregorius, and Daniel Carnes. Special thanks and warm greetings to the Society Choir for sharing the gift of their voices with us. At First Unitarian Society, we question boldly, listen humbly, grow spiritually, act courageously, and love unapologetically. If you are visiting us today, welcome. We are so very glad you are with us. If you would like more information about First Unitarian Society, please stop by the welcome table located in the Commons. We hope you will be able to stay and join us for coffee hour immediately after service, also in the Commons. For those connecting with us virtually today, we are glad you are with us as well. And we hope you will be able to take a moment to watch the announcement slides after today's service to learn about upcoming programs and activities. We have one special announcement this morning, a reminder that our Valentine's Jazz Soiree is coming up very soon, just 1 week from yesterday. Here is a little sample of what you might expect there if you decide to attend. Tickets are still available. Details may be found in the red floors, on our website, or see Cheryl after the service. She is wearing a fabulous sparkly scarf, so she will be easy to find. And now, I invite you to join me in a moment of silence to center ourselves and bring ourselves fully into this time as we join together once again in community. We light the flame of commitment to stand with and work to create change until all know they are beloved.
We light the flame of survival, grateful for our lives, remembering in love those lost along the road.
We light the flame of change, committing to recenter toward love in hearts, in minds, in our world.
We light the flame of hope, loving each other, building community, even when it is uncomfortable.
We light the flame of knowledge, following the path of justice, justice that is love embodied.
We light the flame of radical love, to speak out for those who have been silenced.
Those who have been rejected for who they love, those who have been persecuted for who they are, those who have been bullied for daring to be bold.
Those who have been othered and forced into the margins. Those who have been lonely, those who have been hurt, those who are still hurting.
We light this flame as a people committed. We are survivors. We will change the world until no one lives without hope, until no one lives without justice.
We light this flame and pledge that in love, with love, and through love, all things are possible. And now, as we turn to the literal lighting of our chalice flame, I invite you to rise in all the ways that we do and join me in the words of aspiration on the screen. May this chalice bring us to the precipice of truth, where nothing can be hidden from the flame. And may we find the reckoning place, where our souls burst open and into the liberating light. Now we invite you to turn to those around you and greet each other with signs of love and peace.
Together our opening hymn, number 299, Make Channels for the Streams of Love. Make channels for the streams of love, where they may broadly run, and love has overflowing streams to fill them everyone. But if at any time we seize such channels to provide, the very founts of love for us will soon be parched and dried. For we must check if we would keep this gift all else above. We cease to give, we cease to have, such is the law of
And now I would like to invite forward anybody who would like to come hear a story today. Hello. It's nice to see you. Oh, you got brilliant. All right. Very good. Come on down. Hey, good morning. Good morning to you. So I have this story for you today that is about a monkey and a crocodile. I mean, probably. So in this story, I'm going to talk to you first about the story from the perspective of the crocodile, and then we'll get into it from the perspective of the monkey. This is the one. Yeah.
Can't catch me, can't catch me.
Is it the one where it says, can't catch me, can't catch me? Well, I could see that fitting into the story, definitely. Yes.
Is it where the crocodile tries to, the things come floating in the river, and the crocodile has to get pulled around by the monkey?
Oh, interesting. I don't think it's that story. Let's find out together. So, once upon a time, there was a crocodile who liked to swim up and down the length of a very long river. And there was also a tree beside that river at a certain place, and in that tree there lived a monkey. And one day, the crocodile was swimming past that tree where the monkey lived, the crocodile and the monkey struck up a conversation. I don't really know what monkeys and crocodiles talk about, but they found something that they were both interested in and connected about. Do you have any thoughts about what do you think maybe the monkey and the crocodile were chatting about?
They're chatting about if they liked each other or not.
Oh, they were chatting about if they liked each other. Well, that's a good way of starting a conversation, I guess. Yes? What they like to eat? I think that's a pretty good guess, too, because I like to eat and I like to talk about food, so that makes sense to me. So let's go with that. Yes?
We're talking about the daily.
Okay. So let's go with the food idea. So the crocodile noticed that the monkey's tree had some very nice-looking apples in it. The crocodile had never had apples before and asked the monkey if the apples were good to eat. And the monkey said, "Oh, yes, the apples are quite delicious. I eat them all day, every day. Here, why don't you try one?" And tossed an apple down to the crocodile. The crocodile chomped on the apple, and it was, different from what the crocodile usually ate, but the crocodile was into it, thought that the apple tasted pretty good, thanked the monkey, and this was the beginning of friendship between the two of them, so that every time the crocodile passed the monkey's tree, the crocodile would say hello, the monkey would say hello back, maybe they'd stop and talk about their days, the weather, apples, whatever. So after a little while of this, of the burgeoning friendship between the monkey and the crocodile was way down at the other end of the river where the other crocodiles like to hang out. The crocodile was talking about how he met this nice monkey, and the monkey had given him some apples, and it was just a lovely new friendship he was very happy about. And at first, the other crocodiles just didn't believe him. They were like, "What are you talking about? Monkeys and crocodiles are not friends." Yes?
Well, what if now the monkeys, now the other crocodiles are going to ask for more for apples. They're all going to something's going to get bad after.
So you have a sense that something bad is coming. Yeah. Good guess. Good guess. But eventually, after enough of this, and after the crocodile brought some apples one time to share with the other crocodiles, the crocodiles believed the original crocodile about the monkey. But here is where our villain enters the story. Because there was a king of the crocodiles, very unfortunate system of non-responsive hierarchical government among the crocodiles, apparently. And this crocodile king tasted one of the apples, was very pleased with the taste of it, and it occurred to the king of the crocodiles, if the monkey eats apples all day, every day, then that must mean that the monkey would taste even better than an apple. You can use your own judgment as to how the order of operations works on this, but this was the feeling of the king of the crocodiles. So the king of the crocodiles ordered our friend the original crocodile to bring him the monkey so that he could eat the monkey's heart. Right? You were right. Something bad was going to happen. So, the crocodile was not pleased by this, and in fact was not inclined to do what the king of the crocodiles said, but he did have the problem of having to do what the king of the crocodiles said because those were the rules in crocodile country. So, the crocodile comes by the tree where the monkey lives one day and says, "Oh, friend monkey, I see that you are enjoying your meal of apples once again. Did you know that way down at the other end of the river and on the other side there is a banana tree? I was wondering if you would like a ride there so that you could try something new." And the monkey was very excited about this because it's exciting to get to think about trying a new food. So he hopped down out of the tree, landed on the crocodile's back, and was cruising on down the river, thinking to himself how much he was going to enjoy trying this new fruit. And the crocodile's conscience started to get to him, right? He started to feel like, oh, this is a bad thing that I'm doing. I am betraying my friend. And so he came clean to the monkey. He said, "Look, I got to level with you. There's no bananas, first of all, which I know is disappointing. But also probably more disappointing is the fact that I am taking you to the king of the crocodiles so that he can eat your heart." And the monkey was indeed disappointed, but he just laughed heartily. "Ha, ha, 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 ha. Oh, friend crocodile, how silly you are. You think that I keep my heart in my body." And the crocodile said, what do you mean you don't keep your heart in your body? The monkey said, "Well, look, I spend all day jumping around from branch to branch, back and forth. don't you think that if I kept my heart in my body, it would get all shaken up and broken to pieces? No, no, no. I keep my heart safe and sound way up at the top of the tree. And the crocodile said, oh, well, then you don't have your heart with you. And the monkey said, no, I never take it out for a stroll. And so the crocodile said, well, then we have to go back and get it. And the monkey said, well, okay, I guess we have to go back. So they cruised back down the river, back to the tree. The monkey climbed up to the top of the tree and said, I am never coming down again. And we are not friends anymore. So that's how it was from the crocodile's perspective. He had to go all the way back to the rest of the crocodiles. He was in big trouble with the king. He lost a friend. He didn't get any more apples. It was a bad day for the crocodile. But now let's think about this story from the monkey's perspective, right? Pretty similar beginning. First, there's a monkey and there's a crocodile. They have a little meet cute over some apples. They become friends. And then several months into their seemingly very fine friendship, the crocodile comes along and has this whole story for the monkey about how there are bananas down at the other end of the river. The monkey agrees to the ride. All this is the same. And then, along about middle of the river, the crocodile explains the actual situation to the monkey. Now, before, the monkey just laughed, right? And that's what happens in the story. Same thing happens. But think about it from the monkey's perspective. Because the monkey is not actually very amused. The monkey is very concerned. Its heart is beating a mile a minute, thinking about how it's going to be eaten by the king of the crocodiles. It's got to find a way out of this. It's got to find a solution to this problem. It's got to come up with something to say. And what it comes up with is this whole story about having its heart way back in the tree. And the whole time that it's telling the story, and then it has to ride on the crocodile's back all the way back to the tree, its heart is beating really fast, but it has to pretend like everything is fine. Like it's cool with being eaten by the king of the crocodiles. That's not a big deal. It has to play the whole thing very, very calm. So from the outside, the monkey looked like everything was fine. It wasn't concerned. But on the inside, the monkey was very anxious and afraid. And yet, it managed to make it all the way back to the tree and get to safety and did not get its heart eaten by the king of the crocodiles. So happy ending for the monkey. So, do we have any thoughts about what lesson we can take from this story? Don't let crocodiles eat your heart. I'm not against this lesson. I think it's a good lesson. Yes? Usurp the king. Yes, that's right. Overall, against monarchy, that's my official position. Yes?
What if a crocodile ate a tree and then it ate his heart?
Oh, what if it ate the tree and then it ate its heart? Well, thankfully, the crocodile's jaws were not big enough to eat the tree. But otherwise, that would be a real concern. You're right. Yes?
And don't eat monkeys. They don't taste good.
Don't eat monkeys. They don't taste good. That's definitely the lesson the monkey wants us to take away from this story. Lying is good sometimes. Okay, well, in the exigent circumstances, I do want to make a limited agreement that lying to save your own life is okay. I will stand behind that one. Parents, if you disagree, you can take it up with me later. Yes? Back to the tree, back to the tree. Yes, I like all of these lessons. Thank you so much for talking with me about this story. And now it's time for your classes.
Let's sing the children to their classes with Kindness Lights Our Oh, you can make the world so bright, and you can turn the day from night, and share your gifts and spread your light, and learn what you know. And now let's rise and sing together the hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
It takes many different moments strung together to make a journey. Even the short ones can have struggles and challenges. Times when we speed on forward and times when we dawdle behind. Times to notice, times to remember, times to forget. And times to rest. Those can be quite lovely, but in a busy world, we don't always take the opportunity to quiet our bodies and our thoughts all at once, even when we really need to. So now, to encourage and support each other in our own personal practice of respite and pause, let us spend this moment together, resting in reverent quiet. So, if you have been in Walgreens or CVS at any time recently, then you know that we are in heart season right now. You know what I mean, right? Several months ago it was pumpkin season. Then for a long time it was Santa season. For a little bit there, like maybe a week, it was kind of like we didn't know what season we were in, but now, bam, heart season. That's where we are. So in honor of that, I want to talk with you about the heart and its importance in how we think and feel, but also the importance of what we think and how we feel about it. So once upon a time, the story goes, there was a young man named Peter who lived near the Black Forest in Germany. And in that forest there lived two fairies, Dutch Mike and the Schatzhauser. Both were known to grant wishes, but only in their own particular way. The Schatzhauser was mischievous, but ultimately kind-hearted. He wanted his wishes to be used wisely. Dutch Mike, on the other hand, would give a person whatever they wanted. No judgment, no expectation that they do something helpful or compassionate with it. But every wish he granted came at a terrible price. Now, Peter went into the forest with some wishes that he hoped would be granted, looking for one of these two magical creatures. And he met the Schatzhauser. And because Peter was born on a Sunday between 11 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, the little glass fairy promised to grant him 3 wishes. That might seem like an oddly specific reason to do anything, but creatures in fairy tales often have a knack for making decisions for confusing and nonsensical reasons, just like people in the real world do. Peter used his first 2 wishes very quickly. You see, he came from a poor family and had few friends. So he wished to be a better dancer than anyone he knew and to always have as much money in his pockets as the richest man he knew. And that's all one wish. And the Schatzhauser let him get away with that, which means a pretty generous fairy, I think. So that's just the whole first wish. Better dancer than anyone else, more money than anyone else that he knew. And then he asked for a factory of his very own so that he could be the boss and make even more money. The Schatzhauser granted both of his wishes, but he declared that he would have to wait until later to be allowed to use his third one. Peter went back to his village. He showed off his new talent for dancing. Whenever there was a game of cards, he always had money in his pocket in order to wager with. And his new factory began to make him rich and important seeming. But Peter didn't know the first thing about factory management. And he hadn't thought to wish for the talent or the wisdom in order to do so. So the business soon failed. And the loss of the business fell hard on his little town with so many people suddenly out of work. There were no more parties. There was no dancing at all. Everyone else's pockets were empty, and so now Peter's were too. He had even less than when he'd made his first wish, and so he went back into the forest to find the Schatzhauser again. Instead, he found Dutch Mike, the cruel fairy. Peter asked him for money, and Dutch Mike promised him as much money as he could spend in 3 lifetimes. All he would need to do would be to give up his heart. Peter longed to be rich, so he made the exchange. Dutch Mike gave him a mountain of gold coins and took his heart. He collected them, you see. In its place, in Peter's chest, Dutch Mike replaced the missing heart with a stone. Now, Peter felt like he had made it. He bought a big house, he hired many servants, and he spent his money on everything he could possibly want. He traveled the world, he went on adventures, he experienced every wonder and luxury he could ever have imagined. But when he returned to his little town near the Black Forest, he was not happy. He could not be happy. He could not feel anything. He felt no joy, no wonder, no anticipation or hope. He didn't even feel sadness. With a heart of stone, he just felt nothing. And worst of all, worse even than not being able to enjoy his wealth and everything he'd bought with it, he could not feel love or feel loved by anyone else. His friends and his family felt distant now. Peter, with his great pile of money and his heart of stone, felt alone. Your heart is a part of your body. It's a very important part of your body. With a very few, very special exceptions, in every living person, your heart is working constantly. Most of what's on the inside of your body doesn't move around very much, at least while you're sitting still. But your heart is one of the exceptions. It is constantly moving to keep you alive. Take your hand, if you will, and place it flat on your chest, a little bit to the left of center. If you focus on the feeling in your hand, and if your clothes are not layered too thickly on this February morning, then you will be able to feel it, the constant rhythmic motion of your heart. The squeeze and release many times per minute, every day, that pumps your precious blood through your arteries and veins, making sure that it reaches every part of your body and keeping you healthy and alive. Your heart is not the only part of your body that you need, but you certainly need it a lot. And for thousands of years, people have understood this, and it has led them to understand the heart not just as the center of the circulatory system, your body's network for carrying the blood that keeps you alive, but as the center of feeling and emotion, and in some cases of the soul itself. In the religion of ancient Egypt, the heart was the center of the self, of the whole being. Pharaonic Egyptians understood an impressive amount about the body and about its systems. Their capacity for medicine was quite advanced. But their ideas about how the spiritual intersects with the physical in the vessel of the human form meant that for them, almost all of the functions that modern medicine understands to be in the brain, memory, reason, the human personality, for them, all of those lived in the heart. Our modern culture's own traditions think of the heart in a somewhat similar, if less vivid, way. The Valentine's Day that is now fast approaching is bedazzled with hearts of every size, from enormous red, glittery ones to the tiny, chalky, candy sort. Right? Remember those? A few years ago, there was much strum and drang about the fact that the company that makes them had gone out of business and they were in short supply for a holiday or two. We talk about and think about the heart as the metaphorical seat of our emotions. But its involvement in the way that we feel is much more than just a symbol or a metaphor. We do not only feel our feelings with our brains, not just with our minds. We feel what we feel with our entire bodies, very much including our real, literal hearts. When you love someone, you feel happy when they're happy. You feel sad when they are sad. Sometimes you get fearful about how they're feeling or whether they're safe. And all of those feelings are not confined to the head. That fear might be a queasy feeling in the stomach. That sadness could be a heaviness in the neck and the joints. That happiness might be an energy that courses through the whole body, making every movement seem just a little bit lighter and easier. The beating of the heart changes with our emotions, and it informs them. It's nearly impossible to be calm when your heart is beating quickly. And for people who live with depression, there can be real medical consequences for the healthy functioning of the heart. The heart, with its constant, necessary motion, strong enough to be felt, even from outside the body, is a reminder that we are not just floating brains or bundles of ideas and abstract emotions. Who we are, what we do, how we feel, and how well we love depends in part on our entire bodies. Once, many years ago, when I was a hospital chaplain, two of my responsibilities were to the cardiac intensive care unit and the heart transplant unit. In those places, I got to witness how profoundly the irregular function of their hearts impacted the lives of my patients. Hearts that were struggling from damage or blockage caused not just sluggish and tired bodies, but nearly always straining, worn emotions as well. A few patients had devices implanted that would shock their heart if they ever fell below a certain number of beats per minute. And in those cases, they all seemed to carry a heightened sense of anxiety, waiting and wondering if this day, this hour, this moment might be the next time that it would trigger. And one of the people that I met there had a total artificial heart. His original organ was gone, and while he waited on the hope of a transplant, its work was done by a machine implanted in his chest. The strangest part for him, he told me, was the lack of a heartbeat. The machine did not pump the way a biological heart does. It had more of a constant, even whir instead. Now, February is Black History Month, and one of the names that sometimes gets circulated during this time as an example of Black excellence and contribution to history is Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. Williams's legacy is most often boiled down to just one accomplishment, that he is credited with the performance of the first successful heart surgery. Now, it would be a disservice to any life to reduce it to just one phrase like that, and Dr. Williams is no different. He was a hospital founder and director and an advocate for medical access. He also had a bit of a local connection. Williams was born in Pennsylvania, spent his early childhood in Maryland. He spent most of his medical career between Chicago, Nashville, and Washington, D.C. But in between, in his adolescence and his early adulthood, he lived in Wisconsin, specifically in Edgerton and then later in Janesville. Now, the details surrounding that one surgery that has become so permanently associated with him are also worth considering. At the time, medical opinion was strongly against the idea of making any attempt to repair the heart surgically. Williams performed the procedure at the hospital that he founded, a hospital that was racially integrated both in terms of the people it served and the people who worked there, which was extraordinarily rare in 1893. What he did for his patient, he did without the benefit of blood transfusions or antibiotics. And the surgery he undertook was to repair a wound. The man he was treating had been stabbed with a knife, and Williams was able to repair the damage that it had done to the outer wall of his heart. Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, who spent his professional life working for the health and well-being of others, and who is best known today for his heroic and almost impossible-seeming effort to repair one single heart, is quoted as having said, "Anything is possible when it's done in love, and everything you do should be done in love, or it will fail." Your heart is a part of your body, just as mine is a part of my own. It's important that we remember this, that the metaphorical center of our being and the literal physical reality of our forms deeply overlap. It's important as an antidote to the tendency to approach our own feelings in isolation, either defensively or self-critically. The self-critical version is to weigh ourselves down with guilt over what we feel or don't. Feeling sad when we believe that we are supposed to be happy, or angry when we think we ought to be sad, or numb. Numbness can often come with a great deal of shame about not feeling whatever it is we believe we ought to be feeling. And the defensive version of this focus on feelings in isolation from their practical effect is simply to hide behind good intentions or proper character, even when the consequences of our choices, our actions, or our inactions have a dire impact on others. The author, educator, and social critic Bell Hooks wrote about why, to her, it was so important to approach love as an action rather than merely a feeling. She said, "We are often taught that we have no control over our feelings, yet most of us accept that we choose our actions, that intention and will inform what we do. We also accept that our actions have consequences. If we were constantly remembering that love is as love does, we would not use the word in a manner that devalues and degrades its meaning. The sensations of our feelings emerge organically in the interplay of the chemistry and biology of our bodies and the experiences that we have with them. And the actions we choose are the highest and best way of knowing what we truly feel. Not just for others to know what we feel, but for we ourselves to actually observe and understand our own character, our own hearts. If I wish to be a kind person, I must be kind in practice. If I wish to be loving towards others that I profess to love, I must bear it out with my words and my deeds, not holding myself or anyone else to an impossible standard of perfect conduct, but also not relying on asserting my feelings as a defense against the consequences of my own actions. In the story of Peter and the two fairies, Peter is saved by help from the Schatzhauser, using his final wish to learn how to trick Dutch Mike into swapping the stone back out of his chest and replacing it with his original heart. He loses all that money and everything that he bought with it and everything he gained from his first two wishes besides. But he regains the ability to feel, to have his pulse quicken and race at times of importance and excitement. He finds that he can love again. Friends, may you remember that our hearts are a part of our bodies, that who you are and how you feel is bigger than the mind and requires your whole self, because your feelings are a part of your body too.
I invite you now into this time of giving and receiving, where we give freely and generously to this offering which sustains and strengthens our community here, and also our outreach offering recipient, who this week is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Dane County Branch. The NAACP is a civil rights organization formed in 1909 as an interracial endeavor to advance justice for African Americans. Its mission is to achieve equity, political rights, and social inclusion by advancing policies and practices that expand human and civil rights, eliminate discrimination, and accelerate the well-being, education, and economic security of Black people and all persons of color. There are multiple ways to share your gifts this morning. Baskets are now being passed here in the auditorium for cash or checks, or as you will see on the screen in front of you, you can donate directly from our website, fusmadison.org. You will find our text to give information there as well. We thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we create together.
Thank you so much for that beautiful music. Each week we gather, carrying in our hearts the joys and losses of our days. We hold our own pain and celebration together with those of the ones we love. We share these here, knowing they are held gently in care and in support and in love. We light a candle of grief to mark the death of Phoebe Lewis, who passed from life on January 26th. Phoebe was a mother to 5, grandmother to 12, and great-grandmother to 3. Among those close relations mourning her loss are many members of this community, including Lloyd and Pat Egan, Gavin, Brendan, George, Thecke, Ellie, Henry, Kinnick, Aiden, Juniper, and Lynn. We extend our care to them in their loss and join them in gratitude for a long life well lived. We also light a candle of grief for Janos Steiner, who passed away yesterday in Budapest. Janos is cousin to Dorrit Bergen. We send our love and care to his wife and children. We light a candle of ongoing lament for the violence which plagues our world. Fervently we yearn for peace here at home and around the globe. And we light a candle for all those joys and sorrows, hopes and dreams that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. I invite you now to turn with me both inward and outward as we enter together into an attitude of meditation and of prayer with these words of blessing from Arif Mamdani. We are that. An intuition, a sliver of God consciousness in our hearts pointing toward a bigger reality. We are that, says a little acorn pointing towards an oak tree. We are that, says Buddha pointing toward the moon. We are that, says Jesus pointing toward a lamp. We are that, said Martin. We are that, said Malcolm. We are that, said Asata. We are that, said Ella. We are that. Wave upon wave upon wave, poets and prophets pointing, agitating, washing over us with waves of love that never forget who we really are, who we could be, even in the midst of our endless forgetting. Listen. Listen. Can you hear? Can you feel the waves of love washing over you? Waves of love that remember, even now, who you are, who we are. Waves of love, gently carrying us home. Here in this ocean of love, compassion, and care, we offer up all the things we carry in our hearts this day, all the things we would surround in the embrace of this congregation. May the grip of addiction be loosened. May the weight of oppression be lightened. May truth be bold. May joy break through. And may love make every suffering bearable for us all. Amen.
There's a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all we rest in this love. And now I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit to sing together our closing hymn, number 1014 in the Teal hymnal, Answering the Call of Love. The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are entering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare
your best self. Be your most beautiful self. Be your luminous self. Be your most generous self. Be your most radically loving self. And when you fall short of that, as we do, as we all have, bounce back and return, and return, and return again. There is grace in this returning to your luminous self. Blessed be, go in peace, and please be at rest for the postlude.